I do think that we are getting played by the North Koreans. And when I say we, I mean the outside world collectively. The United States, Japan, China, Russia, and South Korea. And what North Korea is good at is doing just enough provocation that we have different interpretations of how seriously to take it among those 5 countries. So if 2 or 3 of them want to get tough and apply sanctions, the other 2 or 3 tend to come to North Korea's defense, not really defending what they did, but trying to limit the punishment because they feel it's just going to provoke more of this cycle of back and forth. That's the dynamic you usually see. China usually is the country that pulls North Korea's chestnuts out of the fire, so to speak, and China doesn't want instability on its border, doesn't want to see a war because in addition to the instability, that would perhaps lead to the reunification of the peninsula with American forces, perhaps again approaching the Yalu River. And the last time that happened, of course, in the First Korean War, it led to the Chinese intervention in the U.S.-China confrontation. So for all these reasons, Beijing tends to want to just push the problem aside, minimize it, minimize the sanctions on North Korea. It's not a very helpful attitude. I think China's wrong. I think what they should realize is this encourages more North Korean misbehavior. But as long as we fail to develop a unified policy with China, we're going to be vulnerable to these sorts of tactics. And North Korea tends to get away with them because somebody limits the degree to which they're punished. So I think what you need is a clearer, integrated strategy. And to get China to accept the need for occasional sanctions, we're going to have to be willing to sketch out a more specific, positive vision of where the relationship with North Korea could go if North Korea stopped misbehaving and started at least a gradual process of reform. I'm happy to say more about that. But that's the basic thing I believe we need, not because North Korea is going to quickly accept it, but because if we get China, the U.S., South Korea, Japan, and Russia on the same page, we're less vulnerable to these tactics of divide and conquer by Pyongyang.